Hello and welcome, my friends. I'm Dean, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the... We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. We now go live to our AI in the sky, Ada, who is standing by with a transmission from the mad scientist Phineas Welles. What can you tell us, Dr. Welles?
Aha, there you are, hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain, horrible way to die. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology, years ahead of its time. I call it the Holographic Shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters.
Transmission ended.
When evil walks the streets of
A restricted area.
one man lurks in the shadows, shielding the innocent, judging the guilty. That guardian is
The holographic
Shroud. Today's episode, the mystery of
Max.
Murphy.
And now that our hero has discovered the location of the holographic shroud, its mysteries have been uncovered. Dun 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 dun! Or has it? Okay. I'm sorry, peeps. I know this is 2 minutes of our lives that we're never going to get back, but I just had to do it. Every time I hear the words holographic shroud, all I can think of is the silver shroud from Fallout 4. Okay, when you first pick up the holographic shroud, a pop-up appears. This pop-up gives us some info on how it works, but it's pretty vague. I've had a couple of friends ask me if I knew anything about the holographic shroud and how it works, and they suggested I make a video on it, so here it is. The key thing that we need to know is this part of the pop-up. It says, the holographic shroud projects a disguise on you and your companions that give you access to restricted areas, provided you have the correct ID cartridge for that area. Okay, what's an ID card and how do we get our grubby little hands on one? Well, let's go find out. First thing, when you pick up the holographic shroud off the captain's table, it'll go into your inventory under quests. It'll always be there. You don't have to equip it or unequip it. All you have to do is have the ID card and it'll automatically work when you go into a restricted area. But here's the catch. The holographic shroud can project different disguises on you. It needs to know what the correct disguise is for each of the different restricted areas that are scattered across Halcyon. That's why we need the ID card so it can give the shroud that information. When you've found an ID card, it will also go into your inventory under quests. Once you have that, you can now move freely in and out anytime you want to of that particular ID card's restricted area. The first restricted area that you'll find is on the Groundbreaker. It's protected by Mardet's security. This is also where you'll start Maximilian's companion quest. One of his objectives will take you into one of its several secured areas. Now, I really don't want to give out any spoilers here or, kind of ruin it for you. So we're just going to show a couple of places where you can find a Mardet ID card and how the shroud works. I found 3 ID cartridges as I searched around on the Groundbreaker. There's probably more, but you only need one, so I'm going to show the location of these 3. When you pick one up for the first time, it says you have found an ID cartridge to use with the holographic shroud. You'll now be automatically disguised when entering the associated area. This first one is the easiest one to get. It's right beside the Mardet security office.
This is it. Security. I can check the departures registry to find out which crew the Scholar shipped in and out.
Alright, now also what's convenient about this one is it is also the same area that you need to take Max into so that you can continue with his companion quest. The second ID cartridge that I found is in the medical bay. If you go through the doors and work your way towards the back, you'll see another door that says restricted area. The cartridge is laying on a table on the left-hand side, which is kind of convenient because later on in the game, another quest will direct you into this restricted area. The third ID card is located in the restricted area that we're trying to get access to. Believe it or not, for me, the first time I did this, it was the first card that I found. Because I didn't know how the shroud worked, I snuck my way into this area, and it really wasn't as hard as you might think. It is stealing, but once you pick it up, the holographic shroud will start working. And that is the location of the 3 ID cartridges that I know of. Alright, now that we got an ID cartridge, let's see how the shroud works. The first time that you activate the shroud, a pop-up will appear. It says your holographic shroud has activated, giving you temporary access to this restricted area. Moving drains the shroud's energy. When it runs out, personnel will see and interrogate you. Talk your way out of the interrogation to reset your shroud. It will get harder to talk your way out the more you are interrogated. The first thing you'll notice is you now have a purple bar or meter at the bottom of your screen. It also has 3 bubbles on the right hand side of the meter. If you start to move, this meter will reduce. It doesn't matter if you walk or run, the meter will reduce at the same rate. If you leave the area, the holographic shroud will reset, giving you a clean slate to start over again. The next thing that you'll notice is your compass has red marks on it, which indicate enemies. This is to help you navigate around people who might not like it that you're here if the shroud runs out. Next thing that we can see is our companion's armor has changed, and they now look like Mardet security guards. If you take a look at yourself in the menu, you can see that your armor has changed as well. If you leave the area, everything changes back to the way it was. And now your companions are back to their normal looking self. Alright, now what'll happen if the meter runs out?
What do you think you're doing?
The closest person to you will interrogate you, and you'll get 3 choices: lie, intimidate, or persuade. Doesn't matter which one you choose, you will get experience for doing it.
I don't want any trouble out of you.
After being interrogated, your meter will be full again. But notice, one of the bubbles on the right-hand side now has an X in it. Also, the meter is dropping quicker. Every time you are interrogated, it will require a certain amount of skill points and dialogue to pass the speech check. The first time, it takes 15 skill points.
What do you think you're doing?
The second time, it will require 25 skill points or more.
Just don't make more paperwork.
The third time, it will require a minimum of 40 skill points in dialogue. And if you can't pass this final speech check, or the meter runs out before you can get to safety, your only option will be is to fight your way out, or reload a previous save and try it again. But if you can pass all 3 interrogations, and this is your first time doing so, you'll be rewarded with an achievement. Alright, before we go, there's one more thing I'd like to mention for those of you who like to do this kind of thing. Usually when you get to the Groundbreaker, you're about level 7 or 8. Because you do get experience for doing the speech checks, in theory, you could actually grind out several levels here by continuously resetting the shroud and doing the speech checks. So keep that in mind. You may be interested in knocking a level or 2 out. I hope today's video helped you out and answered any questions you may have had about the holographic shroud. I know a couple of my friends will be pretty excited to see this video. If you're one of them, don't forget to sub and hit the notification bell, because we've got a lot more Outer World videos planned and that'll be coming out soon. Also, we stream nightly, and we'd love to have you join us. We have a lot of fun on our nightly streams. Thank you all for stopping in, hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. And just like always, until next time, please stay safe and peace.